Hello everybody, welcome to my trivia channel from here in sunny Yorktown, Virginia. It's cold though. But it's December 8th, 2020 and it's a somber anniversary. It's the 40th year of the death of John Lennon. And I know here in Yorktown, Virginia we have that old George Washington versus Cornwallis thing that, everybody talks about. But I lived in England for 3 years when Dad was in the Air Force, and people were lovely, treated us really well. So in fact, Dad was Scottish, so I'd like to get back one day, go to the Highlands. But I just want to paint a picture for you. I'm not going to ask a trivia question for this video. I just want to paint a picture for just how different it was in those days when we got that announcement. Because we didn't have the internet, and we didn't have Twitter and all these 24-hour news and everything. So what happened? In America, we have a show back then called Monday Night Football. And Monday Night Football, and a lot of Americans don't know this anymore either, but it was huge. And back then, you only got to see, there was no Thursday night football, Saturday football. There was one Monday night game, and then Sunday you had two games, a 1 o'clock game and a 4 o'clock game. And one of those two slots, you got a choice of two. Usually around here, it was the Washington football team. But so you saw, at most, you could watch 3 football games a week, NFL, and that was it. Never more. So Monday Night Football was a huge deal, and there were 3 announcers by the name of Frank Gifford, Howard Cosell, and Dandy Don Meredith. And Frank Gifford was the serious guy in the middle. He kind of was the rock. And then on either side, Dandy Don usually sat to his left, and he was kind of like a good old country boy. With everybody loved him, and he was always cracking jokes. Okay, he's a former ball player. And then Howard Cosell was his right, and he was brilliant. He was a lawyer, but he was one of those guys that could just speak with words, just like very few people, just very eloquent. And so, but he joked a lot too. And then Frank never smiled. So I don't think in 19 years I saw him smile, but he should be in the Hall of Fame for announcing too, just like he's in the NFL Hall of Fame as a Giants running back. But anyway, so that sets the stage. And so that night, the game didn't start till 9 o'clock back then, and they were on ABC. And when the announcement came, there were only 30 seconds left in the game. So I don't remember if it was just before midnight or after midnight. I haven't been able to confirm that or not, but it was late, and so I was groggy. I was ready to go to sleep. And if it didn't get weirder, it was Miami and New England in the old Orange Bowl, which was my favorite college stadium back then. New England came out to win the game with a short field goal and it got blocked. So it went to overtime. If that didn't add to the bizarreness of the whole thing. But with 30 seconds, Howard Cosell, Frank had talked Howard into giving the announcement. And he said, you can go on YouTube and see it. And he said, that tragically John Lennon was out front of his apartment in New York City, the Dakota building, shot twice in the back, dead on arrival. And then later, in the overtime, he announced it a second time, said pretty much the same thing. But it was really surreal because, and now in New York City too, city that never sleeps, so people started gathering around it, the Dakota, and bringing flowers and so forth. And that went on all night, but we all went to bed, and then we woke up and watched the news the next day. But you didn't have all night news. After the game, the national anthem came on. Everybody knows this. The national anthem came on, and then your TV went buzz, or whatever, the buzz or ring or whatever sound. There was nothing on anymore, literally. So we didn't even get cable here until 1983. So, but that was it. It was really sad. And a friend of mine at school, I won't say his name, we'll call him Dave, but he talked me into wearing black armbands. So we wore black armbands to school, and we tried to get everybody else to do it. But back then my high school was mostly country music people, so they really didn't get into it. And then Bob Marley died May 11th of 1981, so also my senior year. So it was just surreal, like what is going on? The whole world just felt like it was crumbling. We were scared to go off to college, and so it was a really, I think at 20, it was a really stressful time. Now here we are in 2020, stressful again. So, but very heartbreaking if you're a big fan of the Beatles, and of course just a senseless crime. And you've seen the interviews with, I won't even mention the guy who did its name. I'm not going to even mention his name, but that's really it. I just thought that would paint the picture that it was just so different than, today if it had happened, It would instantly be on Twitter. It would be instantly running across the screens on it. Remember, that thing across the bottom of the screens didn't come along until after 9/11. That was the day after 9/11 when that started happening. So, back in 1980, it was just totally different. We only had a few stations. We had ABC, NBC, CBS, and then you had PBS, and maybe a couple what they called UHF channels. So I think we had 6 channels. So it was just a different time. The news came out much slower, and the next day it was Tuesday. We were in school, talking about it, and a lot of people still didn't know about it. So, well, that's it. So rest in peace, John Lennon. The world could definitely use John Lennon and Bob Marley today. That's for sure, with all the arguing and bad things going on. But thanks for watching. We'll see you for the next trivia question. Rest in peace, John Lennon. Goodbye.